Bro, for the first time, everything was looking good. Q3 earnings is looking good. Tesla selling record deliveries, record, energy. We have robo-taxis on the road. Optimus is coming, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, the stock goes down more than 5% on a single flipping day.
Pejjy, I thought that you said that Tesla's not going down to the lows. At this point, it looks like it's going to go down to back to the 200s, man. What the heck are you doing? The whole market is down. Nvidia is down 5%. Palantir is down 5%. Apple is down 4%. What is going on?
Everyone needs to relax. Everyone needs to chill. And quite honestly, I gotta say here, finally, we have some sort of a correction going on. And I do think it's soon going to get resolved. And at the end of the day, we're going to look back and say that this was a buying opportunity. In this video, I'm going to go over why Tesla stock dropped like crazy and what to do about it. And as well as what my strategy here is, because you guys have been following, if you guys have been following me since 2021, you've witnessed me seeing the stock going from 400 all the way down to 100 while making these videos. And you guys already know what I've been doing in those times. And this time, it's not as bad as back then, but the panic is still the same. So let's get down to it. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go. So why, Pejjy? Why it is not just Tesla stock, the whole market is going down. The whole market is having a blood flipping bath, and it has to do with US and China. And it has to do with rare earths. China tightens export controls on rare earth metals. This was announced by the Chinese Ministry of Commerce and comes ahead of an expected meeting between President Xi and Donald Trump. 100%, this is leverage when it comes to their negotiation tactics. 100%. The metals added here are the ones you guys can see here on the screens. I'm not going to go ahead and pronounce them. And as well as 7 minerals, making it now 12 of them being export restricted. And this will go into effect in December 1st. Now, why is China doing this? They are doing this because they believe these rare earths are being used for military purposes, which kind of, yeah, they are. The F-35 uses it and some other stuff uses it as well. But this is their reasoning for that, but which doesn't make any sense because they've all been used for these things. Again, I think this is all leverage here, but this is what the article says here. Rare earth related items have dual use purposes for both civilian and military applications. Implementing export controls on them is an international practice, a Chinese Ministry of Commerce spokesperson told reporters on Thursday. The spokesperson added that certain foreign organizations and individuals have been indirectly transferring or processing and then transferring controlled rare earth materials originating from China to relative organizations and individuals directly or indirectly for military and other sensitive applications. This has caused significant damage or posed potential threats to China's national security and interests, adversely affected international peace and stability, and hindered global non-proliferation efforts. Now, he could be talking about Russia because we know Russia uses all these rare earths as well, but this is mainly directed towards the United States, which is quite hilarious, right? I don't think China views the Russia as a threat, not after what's going on in Ukraine, right? But this is what's going on, but I think this is mainly for leverage, and of course, Trump replies back with this, pretty much saying the US will impose 100% tariff on top of whatever they're paying on tariff starting November 1st, unless things change in their meeting and stuff like that. And of course, the market does not like this, and that's why we had a big sell-off. And to be honest with you guys, I've been waiting for a sell-off because, man, everything keeps going up. Everything keeps going, like, it's just not a question, like, stock going down for the past few months, it's just not even a question. Stock should not go down, it should go up, and that's not very healthy for the stock market. And I've been waiting for a buying opportunity to buy this ticker right here, and now it's here, and I'm buying more stock as well. I'll tell you guys my strategy in a bit, but then Ives here was talking about this, and he hits it right on the flipping money. Let's talk about it, because it was flipping interesting. Here's Dan Ives. Let's go.
So as we see a rare earth crackdown, where China's trying to limit the exports of rare earths to the U.S., you say Tesla's the best position to deal with that because they do about 40% of their deliveries in China.
Yeah, I mean, look, it speaks to why they made such a big bet on China, with Gigafactory in Shanghai. This is going to really, I think, insulate them. When you look at the raw materials, look, that right now, I mean, that's the biggest worry in autos. And even when you think about things like, Optimus and robots, But for Tesla, they're in a very good position of strength here. As well as also, you're seeing delivery strength in China, and that's what they're betting on. And I think you're seeing a comeback here. A big part of this 2 trillion, ultimately bull case $3 trillion thesis is the China story for Tesla.
So if you guys been following Tesla for a while now, you already know that they operate massively in China, thanks to Elon's 5 steps ahead strategy. But Dan is right. They are the least impacted compared to other companies. Elon knows that China plays the long game with rare earths and at the moment, has a leverage on everybody, including the United States. I'm not saying the next 5 years or so the US would catch up because now they see how important rare earths are, but right now it's China. And Elon and Tesla knows this and position themselves very nicely in China. Dan also talks about the valuation of Tesla being $2 to $3 trillion, which was a stock price of like 600 to 900 bucks per share. Majority of this will come from China. Kind of. I do agree that China is a massive market for them and the TAM is big, but the main profits are in developed markets, North America, Europe, and etc. For example, robotaxi opening in China is big, but not as profitable in North America or Europe. China is great for volumes, but not great in quality in terms of margins.
Even though 40% of the deliveries are in China, the other 60% are around the world. A big portion of those are right here in the U.S. Are there concerns about increasing cost of rare earths, potentially impacting margins? And also, the company just announced a lineup of lower cost vehicles. How do you see it impacting that lineup?
Yeah, look, it's a concern. I mean, Frank, if you think about it, I mean, the price points probably would have been, called 4,000 or 5,000 lower. I mean, they gave themselves flexibility given increasing prices, but also they do have an advantage in the U.S. because in the U.S., given, you look at the vast majority of that is produced in U.S. parts, so they're not really exposed like some others relative to tariffs and some others. And I think right now, when you look overall globally, Tesla right now is in the best position, but it continues to be the AI play. Because when you think about autonomous and robotics, that's going to be the key to the valuation that I think continues to go higher. Raw materials, I don't view that as really putting any dent in what I view as what's going to be one of the biggest AI growth stories for over the next decade.
Bingo! Let's go Dan! He is right on the money here. This is why Tesla is vertically integrated from the start. From the start, they've been vertically integrated, and that's how they're doing it everywhere where they produce goods and products. And to also avoid issues like this, but of course, they are not 100% immune to this Chinese rare embargo, you could say, but they are the least impacted. The most American-made car is Tesla. The most German-made car is Tesla. The most Chinese car is Tesla. Because they are what? They are vertically freaking integrated. What they produced, most of the materials are from that country. But guys, the future is not the EVs and stuff like that. Of course, that they do matter at the moment, but it's the AI stuff. As Dan said, the rare earth materials don't really impact these. Buying opportunity, I really do think so. But again, they're not 100% immune. However, though, they are the least impacted. This is why I love flipping Tesla. They're like 5-10 steps ahead.
All right, really quickly, I want to go back to those lower cost vehicles. The last time Tesla reported deliveries was about 497,000. You say the lower cost cars get them up to about 600,000 vehicles in deliveries per quarter, but you didn't give a time frame. So when do these lower cost vehicles accelerate these deliveries?
I think by first half 2026.
Sheesh! 600,000 deliveries? That is in flip insane. And he's talking about the first half of 2026? Wow. I mean, honestly, I would be surprised. Second half of 2026? Yes, I can see that. But the first half? That would be in flip insane. Sheesh!
So I think this is something that's really going to have a significant impact for Tesla, as well as what you're seeing really in this China rebound. So, you look at these low-cost vehicles, that's going to give them added sort of, what I think the biggest metric right now is, can you get above 500,000? I think this is going to enable them to get above 600,000. And that's why right now I see bright days ahead for Tesla. It's a table pounder in my opinion. I think $600 is conservative, in terms of where I see the stock going over the next year.
600 stock price on the horizon, boys and girls. Get ready and buy the dip. Not financial advice, of course.
All right, here's kind of the fun part. We're going to show some video of the Optimus robot, but it's not all fun and games when it comes to this robot, because you say production of this robot could actually be negatively impacted by these rare earth restrictions. Talk to me about that. When you're saying it's going to be impacted, would that slow down the ability of the company to produce them? Would it slow down their ability to, increase the cost? Like, what would be the impact in your mind that you see as separate from the cars?
Yeah, and look, Musk has talked about it. I mean, that's probably, if you think about over the next year, I mean, that is, Optimus is going to be the game changer for Tesla. I don't think that this is going to in any way change the mass volume for 2026, but could it delay things? Yeah. And that's why for Tesla, I mean, Musk, he's really 10% politician, 90% CEO relative to what he's done in China, needing to make sure that this doesn't in any way dent either autonomous, cybercabs, or Optimus when it comes to robots.
Again, Tesla is the least impacted here, but not 100% immune. Optimus seems like it's going to be produced massively in the US, but if no one in the US doesn't find a way to increase mining production of rare earths, this will become a flippant nightmare, which I believe in the US government is currently and urgently finding ways to extract rare earths and catch up with China. Overall, I think this is a leverage play and will be over once Trump and Xi meet. But we can't be choked by China with rare earths going forward. The US will 100% act and eventually maybe catch up. If not catch up, mine and extract the boatload of rare earths. I do believe that. Oh, and by the way, Dan talks about Musk being 10% politician. Here are my thoughts about it. When Optimus starts taking labor work from every market and country, he has to become 50% politician. Going after other countries' labor market and laying off white blue-collar workers will massively increase unemployment, which the government will revolt until the transition is complete. There's a little gray area, and this gray area is very dangerous. People will protest that they don't have a job, and knowing how reactive governments are, rather than being proactive, we can expect some sort of a protest until some sort of a universal income comes into play. And when people start to realize that they can use Optimus as a tool to generate money, just like how they do with the internet today. It's going to be ugly for a short period of time, and I do believe this, but I think overall prosperity and abundance will be on the other side of this difficult time.
Really quick with Optimus, and we got to go. Is this an industrial robot in your mind, or is it a consumer play? Like, do we have these in our houses doing things?
I think it's going to be industrial in terms of factories, but I think it's going to be consumers. When it comes to humanoid robots, this is going to be the wave of the future, and that's why it's my view, Tesla. When it comes to physical AI plays, there's the godfather of AI, Jensen, NVIDIA, and then there's Tesla. And I think it's probably the most undervalued AI play in the market, in my opinion.
And Dan here on the flippin' money, most undervalued AI play in the market. Now, you guys already know how I feel about Dan. I don't like how he chases stocks, but when he talks facts, he talks facts. He gets it. Dan Ives gets it, but he is right here. So if you're panicked about this red day, then you're probably a new investor to Tesla. You probably bought recently because Elon bought. You haven't been in it for the past 5 years like I have, and many of us that have been watching my channel for some time, but this is nothing different from the other big dips that we have scares. Now, if Tesla dropped by itself, only Tesla dropped, then there's a specific reason for that, but the whole market is dropping. And if you are looking to buy the dip or buying opportunity, this is it. It's right here. And not just Tesla, right? I mean, of course, I'm buying more Tesla stock because that's what I think the world's most valuable company is going to be. But just every stock that you like, whether it's the S&P or ETF or Palantir or whatever it is, this may drop as we keep going forward, but there's going to be a time where it stops and it's going to reverse back up because all this will go over and no one's going to remember about it. And don't forget, guys, the US is in a government shutdown as well. So this with that is going to create some sort of a negative impact in the markets, but I think it'll overcome and it'll just be a buying opportunity in hindsight. Now, my strategy here is I'm buying 2 shares in the 400s. If it goes below 400, I'm buying 3, 4, 5 plus shares at a time. That is my strategy. I need more Tesla stock because what's about to happen with this, we are not flipping ready. Sheesh! And if you're a long-term Tesla investor, check this video between Sir Basher and I. We talk about the stock price from now to 2035 with every single sector. It was a very great video. Make sure you get your popcorn and notes or whatever because it was a very bullish video and logical too. So check it out. You won't be disappointed. Subscribe, guys. Become our channel member. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Let's go. Don't be afraid. And buy the flippin' dip. Not financial advice, of course. Let's go.